The Deductionist.
In January 1942, 25 people sat down in a newspaper office to do a crossword. None of them knew they were being tested for anything. As far as they were concerned, they were there to prove a point about a puzzle that had gotten too easy. 5 of them finished. And within weeks, without ever being told why, those 5 were sat in front of a general staff officer being recruited into the most important intelligence operation Britain ran that century. They passed a test that they didn't know they were taking. I think about that a lot. I mean, I think about that a lot as well because I'm about to do the opposite. I know exactly what I'm being tested on. I know the man who built it died 92 years ago and left no way to cheat. And I know 100 pages in that book have already decided whether I've got what those 5 had or whether I just end up becoming one more name on a very long list of people who didn't. So, January 1942, the Daily Telegraph has been getting letters, complaints. Readers saying the crossword's gone soft, it's too easy. So the editor, a man called Arthur Watson, does something a newspaper would never survive doing. He gets annoyed, and he decides to prove them wrong. He brings in a setter, W.A.J. Gavin, and he tells him to build something vicious. Then he invites 25 people into the Fleet Street newsroom, sits them down, and then gives them like 12 minutes. 5 of them finish in time, and one of those 5 misspells a word and gets disqualified out of pure spite from the universe. The War Office had been watching them all do it, because that's really what the War Office does. And a few weeks later, letters start arriving at the homes of those 5 solvers, not from the Telegraph, but from a general staff officer asking them to come in and then discuss matters of national importance. They walk into that meeting thinking they've won a crossword competition. They walk out recruited into the code-breaking effort at Bletchley Park. That's not folklore. That's not a nice story that someone blew the smoke up to get a nice documentary out of. That crossword became the first filter and one of the most consequential intelligence operations in British history, because whoever built it understood something that most people miss. The skill that solves a cryptic clue and the skill that breaks an enigma cipher are the same. It's pattern recognition under pressure. The ability to hold an idea loosely enough to be wrong about it and then correct fast. A puzzle done right is more of a diagnostic, which is exactly why I'm sat here with you talking about this instead of a crossword. Because somebody built a diagnostic in 1934 that almost nobody's passed. Now, Bletchley is the story we like to tell about puzzles. The one where solving it opens a door. There is a second kind. And it doesn't open doors. It opens graves in people's back garden. 1979. An illustrator called Kit Williams publishes a picture book called Masquerade. Beautiful thing. Oil paintings, a fairy tale about a hare carrying a gift from the moon to the sun. It was hidden inside the paintings was a puzzle And the answer to that puzzle is a set of coordinates in the English countryside. At the foot of a stone cross, where Kit had personally buried an 18-carat gold hair encrusted with rubies and moonstones. He tells the country the book alone is enough to find it. Find it within a few inches, something like that. The thing that happens, it's not exactly a charming reflection of the English people. This was grown adults digging up parks, neighbors digging up each other's gardens. It gets cited, and I promise I'm not making this up. It gets cited in an actual divorce. 3 years pass, nobody finds it, and then the hair turns up, dug out by a man using a false name who, it later turns out didn't solve the puzzle at all. He got there through a personal connection to a woman who'd once dated Kit and pieced together information that nobody else had access to. The book that was supposed to reward the sharpest mind in Britain got claimed by a man who cheated. Kit Williams, from what's been reported, he never fully recovered his relationship with the public after that. It was a national obsession that just curdled into a national grievance about a week of it. That's puzzle number 1 in this second category. Puzzle number 2 doesn't have an ending at all. 2012, it was. An image appears on a 4chan message board. Don't worry. I'll hold your hand through this. We'll be fine. No explanation. It was just a claim. We're looking for highly intelligent individuals and a puzzle to prove it. It calls itself Cicada or Cicada 3301. People who chase it get pulled through cryptography, hidden audio, physical coordinates left in cities on different continents. Some genuinely reach what looks like the end. They report being invited into a private space, told the recruiting had concluded, and then silence. Whoever or whatever Cicada 3301 actually was, and their theories, ranging from an intelligence agency to a privacy collective to somebody's elaborate art project, never confirmed anything. To me, it always reminded me of the story of the Red-Headed League. Now, the puzzle ran 3 times, then stopped. Part of the final stage was a runic manuscript called Liber or Liber Primus. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's still not fully decoded. It's like a decade later, more. So there's the split. Bletchley is a puzzle with a flaw. Solve it, something real and provable happens to your life. You Masquerade and your Cicada, they're puzzles with no flaw at all. One rewards a cheat over a genuine solver. The other might not have a solution waiting in the end, regardless of how well you play. That split, that's important to me in the way I'm trying to approach Cain's Jawbone. Because Cain's Jawbone could have gone either way. Torquemada could have built something with no real answer, just to watch people squirm. He didn't. There is a correct sequence. There are 6 correct murderers. The Laurence Sterne Trust holds a verified solution right now. And it isn't secret. It isn't secret because it doesn't exist. It is secret because it's well protected. I need to choose my words better. It's secret because it's the only thing stopping this from becoming 100 pages of guesswork with a small marketing budget. That puts it in the Bletchley category, not the Masquerade one, not the Cicada one. This has a flaw. Floor, not FLAW. But it also means that there is no version of this where I get to fake it. There's no connection to court, no ex-girlfriend of Torquemada Tellino, 92 years dead. So even if I wanted to cheat the way the hair got dug up, there's no one left to do that. Which leaves one option. Do the work. Right? Do the work that the puzzle was actually built to test. It's the same skill that got 5 strangers a letter from the War Office in 1942. Pattern recognition, held loosely enough to survive being wrong, corrected fast enough to keep moving. Last episode, I was on page 2. Since then, the work hasn't stopped. Pages 3 have been confirmed, so is 4. 5. We're sitting at page 10 as of today. And I'm going to show you how I got there. So, walking with me. There goes my bag. I don't want this to end up being 100 episodes. So I don't want to be capped by a working order. I mean, it's got nice kind of symmetry to it, with it being 100 episode, 100 pages. You know, that appeals to the tism within me, but it verges on making it ridiculous. So we have this. Every one of these MFers fall back. Some of what we're about to go into took an afternoon. One of them took a bit longer than I'm proud of saying, but you know, it is what it is. So the same rule as episode 1, same rule as episode 2, same as every page from here to 100. Nothing gets marked confirmed off one piece of evidence. Nothing gets ruled out until it's actively contradicted. If a thread's thin, I'll tell you it's thin. If I'm guessing, which I don't do, I'll confirm my confidence, around that, and then I'll stop. Because an inference is not a conclusion, and I'm not going to tell you it is. Right. So we have the pages. I have some other videos exporting over here. Sorry. I'm currently sat down, stretching my legs around the table. And so let's just see how we get on. All right. Most of this will likely be time-lapsed anyway, so you don't have to listen to my entire waffle. But you never know what we're going to come up with, right? So page 3 is finally done. Let's say page 4. I really think I would have preferred the Maestro Jimson's title. So, Maestro Jimson. Why would I have preferred it? Spelled wrong. But I know it's spelled wrong, so does that still count? I fixed it anyway. I don't know why, for some reason, when I'm scribbling my shorthand down, I tend to miss out letters. I mean, that's a sign of a degenerative issue or not. What is it a title of? Like, what's it for? What role? And then we're just going through and we're collecting all the So we're just moving into the details and information, going through each observation within the pages and looking for the things that stand out in order to try and find out more things about them. Things could be ambiguous, kind of wordplay, observations I don't recognize, disconnected entities. It is just me waffling to myself. It's 2 pages, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26 containers of outstanding things, each with multiple questions attached. So let's just blast through the first 10 pages.
There we go. This is 10 pages of work so far. People go, how busy is your brain on this, Ben? Well, pretty busy. So I'm averaging out at maybe 10 to 12 cards per piece of paper. Each observation that is made raises between 4 and 5 questions, and that is per page so far. So there's a lot of stuff to investigate. I don't think Finnemore could have been any more on the money. Right from the get-go, that's 10 pages, and like when it gets to kind of pages 7, 8, 9, and 10, like I'm not a weather person, so I can't do it in the green screen. So this page, the only thing that's not highlighted for investigation on here is ellipses. The only thing that's not highlighted for investigation down here is a semicolon. The only thing that's not investigated down here on page 8 is the words "I knew." That's it. Everything else needs figuring out, exploring, layering within context, figuring out where connections are, figuring out what gets validated, dismissed, clarified. Are there any connection points? What are the corollaries on ideas? There's so many things to think about. And, yeah. Ugh.
So we are 10 pages in. 10. That's it. And the book is already cheating. Not cheating in any kind of possibly fun way, in the way where every time I think I've caught it being clever, it turns out to have been telling the truth the whole time. Like, there's a line about Kilmarnock and Belmerino completely lost their heads. It's not a turn of phrase. Those 2 men were beheaded together on the same day in 1746. The idiom is the history. That's the level this thing operates on. So you try and build a pattern from that and it changes. Then you try and build a pattern from that and it changes. 10 pages in, 100 to go. So let me, here's where we actually stand. Real material keeps showing up inside the fiction itself. Defoe, Whitman, Shakespeare, Conrad, a Jacobite execution, an Egyptian cigarette brand, real specific about the sizing as well. Arthur Conan Doyle has turned up 4 separate times now. Not quoted, woven in. A dummy bell rope built exactly like the one that kills someone in the Speckled Band. Spoiler alert. Baker Street, the word boots, which is not a relation to a pair of shoes or the common high street store. It's the name for a servant whose job was to polish them. Doyle used the exact same word the exact same way in 1887. And these things are stacking. And there's only really, well, so far, anyway, maybe this is vain naivety speaking, but there's only been one part so far that's actually hard. Everything else can be resolved. It just takes a long time to do because there's so many questions to answer. The book, because of the misprinted order, it can be interpreted to document a change in narrator identity page to page. So every trait we log, gender, class, whether the narrator sounds confident or keeps admitting they can't understand their own equipment, it has to be tracked per page and then never assumed to be carried over. And this isn't a confirmation either. So it could be that there are two narrator voices so far who both talk like they are running a household staff and looking down their noses at servants while they do it. Might be the same person. Might just be the same author reaching for the same voice twice, and there is descriptive dialogue I've misunderstood. That's the actual mystery that's underneath the mystery. And it's not going to resolve itself just because I want it to. So 90 pages left. Somewhere within there are 6 murderers, of which I think I'm onto one of them, and a victim. We've got a servant nicknamed after Doyle, a hat pin that might be a weapon, a bell wire built like a murder weapon, a narrator who keeps telling us they're not smart enough for the job that they're doing. I don't believe that, though, for 1 second. The easiest way to lie to us, given the specifics of the puzzle itself, would be to have the narrator mislead us, because a lot of the time the narrative device of the narrator is to guide us through the story, So that's where we are. That's why this one has taken a long time to put together, because I'm not like Finnemore, where I have the joys of lockdown and just being able to focus on it for long periods of time. I don't have that. So this is free time work, and I don't have a lot of that either. all I really have is the urge to see if I can do it. That's it. And there is quite literally only one way to find out. So, if you're getting anything out of these, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast as well. If you're following along, let's talk shop. Let's spitball ideas, right? As I say, you can keep the money. I just want to know that we can do it, that I can do it, that I'm capable of something of this magnitude and this difficulty. And I'm not going to lie, there is an egocentric part of me that would really love to be a part of that kind of history. I would love that. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and I will see you very soon for another episode. Take it easy.
The Deductionist. The Deductionist.